following me right now and you're new to my channel, I welcome you all. And just to let you know that for the newbies, I'm AspieAnswersAll. I'm all about creating mental health awareness versus sharing my life stories with depression, OCD, anxiety, and the like, basically to take you on a journey or in my shoes for a day or so, just to hopefully get you guys familiar with who and what I am as a person behind the mask of those diagnoses. This is also, I do some other channel which I mentioned briefly has been now listed as a playlist or a library, which is called Beauty from Ashes, which covers everyday topics that we go through with tips and advice and just some form of encouragement as a motivator and supporter for you all, hopefully, so that hopefully in the long run that you don't feel down and discouraged, even though hopefully also that it's okay to know that there is help out there along the way, and I'm here as one of a support person to hopefully encourage you all regardless what you're going through. And all further ado, also I want to welcome back to the oldies who may be returning my channel. I want to thank you lots as well as many new ones that has decided to come and visit to support me on my journey. So it hasn't been easy for me in the long haul, because obviously at this point of time for me, as you guys are aware, that I've had to put my video on hold last year, but then decided if it's something I love doing that I'm passionate about, which is reaching out to you viewers to support you in a way in the community, or even just on the screen here, on the community of YouTube, that hopefully that we can learn from each other, and hopefully from there on in, with learning from each other, we can respect each other's values and morals and whatnot. As I said so many times before, I want to create this channel at least to remove the stigma and stereotyping of what Asperger's syndrome is versus all these mental health illness series that you may have been watching throughout versus whatever else it may be, and just to hopefully just also basically accept one another for who and what we are. And all for the day now, basically in these series I'm doing is basically all about the processing disorders. So they're all about the sensory disorders, processing disorders versus the auditory processing disorders and the like. And hopefully, and all further ado, basically as many videos has been helpful, useful tool for you all to educate you all, or to share with your family, friends, or whoever, basically to gain a better understanding and knowledge about all these together. And also for a fact too, just to be in mind before I continue, that basically all these series I've been collabing hopefully is going to be step by step, so it's easier to read or follow through while you're journeying with me when I share these thoughts about what they are and the like, to how to manage or treat them as a such of a way that hopefully basically we can go about it. Okay, and all further ado though, put a disclaimer out too before I begin. I'm no medical expert, I'm just an everyday normal job blogs that goes through everyday situations, be it, my depression, OCD and the like, and that, if you feel that you see the warning signs or symptoms of certain, topics I bring out, regardless what it may be for these mental health series especially, do seek professional advice or second opinion from a medical expert if you feel the need or have to. Because I know that sometimes based on my life experiences versus, just my training in general that I did in the past, basically, they may not be 100% accurate, but I do my best in my way I can to just, share my life experiences with some tips and advice for support and whatever else it may be. So, in all further ado, guys, this is all about the auditory processing disorder. This is what it's going to cover following on, what it is, the definition of from what I've read through the dictionary of some kind, which I'm referencing on that, my uptake of what it is. This is basically the diagnosis, how it happens, within that diagnosis stages, the causes for it, versus the characteristics in adults and children of basically central auditory processing disorders. Basically, also maybe, relation to specific language impairment and developmental dyslexia could be another one, as well as last but not least like a remediation versus the training, as well as maybe some treatment or techniques to help us get by with all these disorders. So no further ado, hopefully before I end up running out of time, you've been enjoying my video series, and hopefully you're learning from me and many others. So, in further ado, right, auditory processing disorder part 1. What is it? Okay, this is also known as basically clinically Central Auditory Processing Disorder, or CAPD, abbreviated down to. which is an umbrella term for a variety of disorders that can affect the way the brain processes the auditory information, which is your hearing, auditory hearing. Individuals with APD usually have normal structure and function of the outer, middle, and inner ear for your hearing, peripheral hearing. However, they cannot process the information they hear in the same way as others that, can hear normally, and basically will lead to difficulties in recognizing and interpreting sounds, especially the sounds composing, into some form of speech. It is thought, though, however, that these difficulties may arise basically from the dysfunction of the central nervous system. Because as we know, the brain and the central nervous system parallel with each other, obviously, somehow in the way of basically sending messages to the brain of the chemical hormones, of what, of our 5 classic senses, be it what we see, what we touch, what we feel, how we touch it and how we feel it will actually send out messages to the brain with the receptors of the sensory receptors versus the, touch, feel, sights receptors that we have in our body that will send some, chemical hormones along in the bloodstream versus just the, neurotransmitters of certain ones that will interact with one another. And however, just to bear in mind when I'm ending this, APD can affect both children and adults, even though many people have mistaken, auditory processing disorders usually happens in children, which is pretty much, maybe pretty much true. It does happen at a younger age without us realizing it till, later date, maybe. Also, though, to be frank, the actual prevalence of what is actually happening or the cause of it, although it's currently unknown at this stage, that like they're trying to still do testing and whatnot. But then again, this is a real funny fact. Well, not funny fact. It has been clinically suggested that males will actually likely be, well, shall we say, more than likely, twice as likely affected by the disorder than as females. But there has not been no actually clinical studies or, shall we say, research that has proven this at the moment, which, still, again, based on research. Anyway, this is the first part of Auditory Processing Disorder, Part 1, which is the introduction. Give me a like for thumbs up for support and engagement. Also, just to show that, you're liking my content. Feel free to follow me, AspieAnswersAll on Twitter and Facebook. Also, comment below if I missed out anything or just want to pop in and say hello and give me a form of feedback. Feedback and all that is welcome. Feel free to also, subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so. I'm hoping to try and at least maybe cut down my, schedule in the way of what I'm doing, regardless what it may be. If it has to be versus doing it maybe 3 times a week plus that Sunday or shall we say Saturdays, you're doing my recording of my shout out Sunday video so it's ready to upload. So I'm hoping it will be for the second episode at least. So keep an eye out for that one. As I said, we're all about hopefully supporting one another, engaging more with one another on each other's channel and being of support, because as I've read in one of my questions that I'm going to do in my tag video based on the YouTube community, which you will hopefully see soon about the YouTube community tag video, which some of it will correlate to the too much information tag. So feel free to watch that and have a bit of laughter of what I answered the questions. I felt a bit nervous and all that. Also, apologies in advance if you do see it, with that being like a small frame, then a bigger frame for you all to see me, because for some reason I had technical difficulties somewhere along the way along with it. So I'll put that out there as a, apology in advancement. I'm hoping also to share with you my everyday journey, pretty much what I've been up to, even though I have already basically based on my Asperger's syndrome and that profile, characteristic one about if it's holding us back or not actually working for some of us autistics, obviously, because I've noticed that something needs to be changed in that form of way of how they do things in a way of employment, even though, some of the systems that they put in place for it, it was just my opinion versus when I was watching someone who shared her opinion, which is Robin. I'm not sure if she still watches my channel. Robin Goodman, I actually want to just thank you for when I was watching that. I thought to share my thoughts versus of what, even though you asked for feedback basically based on, what we think needs to be changed, but I put it into my end of it about what needed to be changed there. Also, feel free to share my videos to family, friends, because as I said, I want to create this as an awareness, understanding, and basically removing all the stereotyping, regardless what it may be, and hopefully that in the near future, as I said, hopefully with this book journey of mine, that it will open doors, because you never know, even though I'm trying not to be too downside at the moment of what I've been sharing, based on my journey so far, especially for the job front, you know, hopefully something good will come out of it, you know, of the job seeking and whatnot. But I'll keep you posted on my journey on that, as well as just my everyday journey. Even though I was going to actually do a follow me vlog idea someone suggested maybe to do. But enough meddling. Have a great day, guys. Do what you love what you do. Be kind to one another. Be true to yourself, and be humble to yourself as well as to others around you. You know, until next time, thanks for your support. I'll see you all again soon.